Broadcasting to you from the heart of northern Minnesota. This is the best music-oriented podcast and web series on all of YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Roger Radio, and this is the Roger Radio Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I am also here with the legend himself, the man who has never lost a Jack the Ripper and Slash lookalike contest, Aegis Don Levity. Aegis, are you there?
I'm back, bitches.
Oh, shit.
So I heard you wanted to talk about prog rock.
That is something that I thought you would like, man. Your wettest dreams are all coming true, you bastard. But before we get into it, two things. Number one, a cheers to you. I got my cup of Joe. You gotta take a hit of your douche flute right there, as I can tell.
Cheers, brother.
Yep, cheers. And of course, number two, the question of the podcast, and that is, who is your most favorite progressive rock band?
It's easy. The Deer Hunter.
How come?
I just like the stories that they tell, and the music itself is really good.
Fuck, this is a tough one for me right here, man. It's very, very fucking tough for me. I would have to say Dream Theater. It's something about their music that I really loved, that I really like. I know it sounds blasphemous because they're considered as progressive metal, but they are part of the progressive movement, you know?
Yeah, we'll probably be talking about both progressive rock and progressive metal in this video.
Any progressive like stuff, you know, just whatever comes to mind. And yep, ladies and gentlemen, today's podcast is obviously going to be about progressive rock, progressive music in general, which is Aegis's cup of tea right here, obviously, you know. Oh, so what can you tell us about what just draws you to progressive rock?
It's more technically complicated than a lot of standard music that you listen to today, and it has a unique sound to it that I just generally enjoy.
Okay, I hear you, man.
They're not intimidated to experiment and do things that no one else does.
Yeah.
See, I like progressive music and I like experimental / avant-garde music just because they break the barrier of what is considered like acceptable or normal in music.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you loud and clear. Just quickly typing in a few things, so you'll have to give me a quick sec. Okay, so obviously, you know, like I know that how much you love your stuff and all that, you know, so I'm sure that, like, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have all this information in the description below. We are reading off of Wikipedia, probably the most trusted encyclopedia of all time, unless if you're an admin and you fucking just change whatever, you know. All right, so, progressive rock, ladies and gentlemen, shortened as prog rock or simply just prog, is a broad genre of rock music that primarily developed in the United Kingdom through the mid to late 1960s, peaking in the early to mid 1970s. Initially termed progressive pop, the style emerged from psychedelic bands who abandoned standard pop or rock traditions in favor of instrumental and compositional techniques more commonly associated with jazz, folk, or classical music, while retaining the instrumentation typical of rock music. Now, folks, that is certainly understandable because a lot of the prog rock stuff that Aegis and I have listened to, there was a whole lot of instrumentation and compositions during songs, you know, like when they would end up taking, like, for example, like TRRS, by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, who we will get into.
And they used like a rock organ on it.
Yeah, and they ended up doing a whole lot of like different segments, like mostly instrumental segments with some of the traditional singing and all that.
Yeah, when we
And
did our video on TRRS, I made a mistake. I said that they don't use electric guitar at all, and they just use a rock organ. I misspoke. I meant to say they do use electric guitar, but is very heavily overshadowed by the organ that they use.
yeah, no, like I said, dude, that's what I tried telling you, man. So yeah, I know that a whole lot of these bands have also done it. Pink Floyd is another great example too, with the stuff
Hmm.
that they did, and especially with Roger Waters, the creative force of the Big Four era of Pink Floyd, as I call it. He did a whole lot of arrangements, being like, "This is how you gotta do this, gotta do that," and all that shit, you know. Alrighty, so
Want to know
like,
the first, want to know the origin of progressive rock, where it
yeah,
all
good.
started?
Yeah, I was gonna say, could you give me a sec on that? I gotta finish reading this here. Additional
Okay.
elements contributed to its progressive label. Lyrics were more poetic. Technology was harnessed for new sounds. Music approached the condition of art and the studio rather than the stage, became the focus of musical activity, which often involved creating music for listening rather than dancing.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to dance to anything that I write, that's for sure.
Right? I mean, Dark Side of the Moon, for example, which we did a review of, Pink Floyd's magnum opus, in my opinion. And they, it was just about tuning out, you know, just
Excuse
put on the music and just sit back and just tune out, you know, that kind of thing. All right, Aegis. So, what were you do? Want to tell us about the origins of it?
All right, so the very first progressive rock album was Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues.
The
That
Moody
was not
Blues, huh?
only, yeah, that was not only the first progressive rock album, but it was also one of the first rock operas ever written. Or
No
as it says
shit.
on, or it says on here, first concept albums ever written.
Oh yeah,
Let's
I
see.
see that. Let me. I actually do want to take a look at this right here. Um, give me a quick moment. Just gotta quickly write this. I am writing down hashtags because I'm starting to use the hashtags a lot. So, all right. I want to say I think I know this album pretty well. So I was wondering. Oh yeah, I see. The song "Nights in White Satin." Yep, I've listened to
Hmm.
that song right there. That's a good one. I did not even know that this was the first prog album. Let me see. November 17th, 1967. Okay. Yeah, it is considered one of rock music's first concept albums. So I'm not seeing anything about rock opera on here. So yeah, maybe it is considered a rock opera. I don't know.
I think it would be. It seems more like a rock opera than just a regular concept album to me.
Yeah,
It's like the day in a life of, I think it was referred to as the everyman.
yeah,
Like
no,
there's daylight, there's night, all that shit.
yeah. I could see that. Yeah. The day begins, ends, and then dawn. Dawn is a feeling. The morning, another morning. Lunch break, peak hour. The afternoon, evening, and then the night. Yeah, it does feel like it would be a rock opera kind of thing, but you know what the funny thing is, Aegis? Is that the track listing for this right here, some reason almost reminds me of Roger Waters' solo debut album, The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, because the how he actually titled the songs on there is like whatever AM. It's supposed to be like dreams are that you're having like in the early morning hours when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
But then of course, we really don't know that because of we work overnights. So we're
Mhm.
technically not sleeping during that. The only time I do is just Friday or yeah, Friday night and Saturday night because either one, I'm too tired, or two, I'm so fucking shit faced from all the booze that I pass out.
No, so yeah, if you ask me, the Moody Blues was the origin of progressive rock. They weren't the
Okay.
best progressive rock band. I have opinions about that I will be talking about later. But the Moody Blues definitely did start the movement.
Yeah.
But they're not the people who uh popularized the progressive rock movement.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, and yeah, we'll get to that in a second, but I do want to say this about this album here in particular. The song Nights in White Sand, a really good song for radio waves, for radio play and all that. I know I
Yeah.
played this. There was a a married couple who I knew from back home in Hill City. They were former Hill City alums from my old stomping grounds, and they've been living in Florida for a while. And the husband in that couple, no, recently passed away back in, I believe, this past November or December. And I remember on my Facebook, I ended up posting a picture of them in their high school yearbook, and why the widow in question told me that this was their favorite song, and she said that when he was in a, I think, in a medically induced coma, she actually sang the whole song "Nights in White Sand" to him, and he responded with a yawn. And they said that was literally the funniest thing that ever happened, So, and I actually ended up doing this as a tribute of sorts, and actually at his wake that they did, they actually downloaded so we at my radio station that I volunteer at, they actually do archives for that last for about 48 to 72 hours, and they actually downloaded my show from that day that I did the tribute, and they actually played that part at the wake. And they pretty much, and they even and even the family, the immediate family, said thank you. You really helped us when we had this really tough time, because he had severe medical problems and he was in a coma, and then they took him off life support.
All right,
You know, and
so
even
what oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and even then it's like, I every time I think about this song, I think back to that, because it was like what I love doing about this stuff is at least try and give back and stuff like that, So,
Yeah.
but all right, Aegis, what were you about to say?
What would you consider to be the bands that kind of popularize, well, prog has never been like popular, but you know what I mean when I say like
Yeah,
what
those
bands
that
would you
at
say
least put it on the
popularized it?
map. The way I
Yeah,
see it,
yeah.
Aegis,
To
the way
me,
that I will say this, actually, you know what? You go ahead with your response quick, and then I'll give you my answer.
the bands that had the greatest progressive sound that definitely mm, well made it more popular, are King Crimson and Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yeah,
They had the most progressive rock sound out of all the other bands out there.
yeah. I mean, I know how you are with your King Crimson, man. You love your King
Hmm.
Crimson, dude.
And they're in the process of making a new album, which they haven't released in albums since like 2003, 2002 with the Construction of Light.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Dude, I know you love your fucking King Crimson, man. The cool thing is that with this band, dude, and I told you this, they are almost like the Saturday Night Live of music for some reason. And the reason I say that is because a lot of their past members ended up going on to have successful careers outside
Hmm.
of King Crimson, Like
One of my
Greg Lake was a one prime example, and they are the subject, and he is a member of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And then there was also Boz Burrell, who ended up becoming the bassist for the supergroup Bad Company.
I also
And
had
then,
Adrian Belew in the band for a while, and people give Adrian Belew a lot of shit, but I think he's a great guitarist, great musician. Love him.
oh yeah, and you said that made one of your favorite albums, right?
Yeah, the Desire of the Rhino King, which was actually kind of a compilation album, but I think it worked out really well.
Oh, okay.
If you want to get into Adrian Belew, listen to his album, The Desire of the Rhino King. It's really good.
Okay, I got you, man. Oh yeah, and there was also Bill Bruford who ended up no, who was a member of Yes. And you said that the only consistent member was
Robert Fripp.
yeah, Robert Fripp, yeah.
And like he's a really good musician, but I've heard he's kind of a dick.
Dude, I mean, dude, it's the music industry. Do you expect everyone to be fucking happy and everything all the time, dude? They have so much shit they have to do. We're like, they'll just be like, dude, we don't have time to fucking talk to you. We got other shit that we need to do. We need to go on tour. We gotta go on the stage to fucking do sound checks or whatever. We gotta fucking make music. We gotta go on the fucking bus or plane or whatever the fuck it is. Is it? They ain't. You
I
don't expect them to be your friend, all right? I mean,
see
dude,
one.
I volunteered at Grand Rapids Riverfest. This will be my third one coming up in September, dude, and I was pretty lucky. So far, I've been lucky.
See, when I'm rich and famous, I'm gonna be a really nice guy. I want to be one of those people who's like, yeah, he's famous and all, but he's like one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Yeah.
I want that to be the way people know me.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I don't blame you. The for me, dude, I'm probably just gonna have that same mentality like my boy Liam Gallagher of Oasis. You know, just be like a guy who doesn't give two fucks. You know. So now that you bring it up with the King Crimson, dude, when it comes to progressive rock, dude, I always, for the earlier days, I always, no, I said that there is a big four for me. Moody Blues, now that you brought them up, I would consider them as part of that group now. King Crimson, Yes, and Genesis. They were the big four that really helped progressive rock, pick up steam or at least to get it started,
I'm
No,
not gonna
because
lie, I
these guys,
never.
yeah,
Oh,
because
sorry.
these guys they ended up starting like in the late '60s and all that. They had like Moody Blues. No, was you said that was their first album that they released, right? In
No,
'67.
that was their second album, actually.
Okay, yeah, and then King Crimson they released their album In the Court of the Crimson King in 1969. Yes, ended up releasing their self-titled album in 1969 as well. And Genesis, this is a pretty funny one right here for me, dude, because their debut album called From Genesis to Revelation was also released in 1969, but it was not considered a progressive rock album. It
Yeah,
was more it was more considered as psychedelic pop, folk, art rock, orchestral pop, and psychedelic folk. It wasn't until their second album, Trespass, in 1970 that they ended up going into the progressive rock sound. And they made their shows very memorable because of their original frontman, Peter Gabriel, who himself had a successful solo career in his own right. And he would often do stage makeup and all of that, really show out. And I think that also helped lay the groundwork for like, you could really make great live shows if you're a prog rock band.
Not gonna lie, I never really got into Genesis.
Yeah, I really don't care much about them, honestly, but I've listened to a few of their songs. They got some good stuff. I've only mainly listened to the Phil Collins led era, because it's fucking
Mhm.
Phil Collins, you know, and he was the one guy that really helped them, or oh, he was the one who helped continue their success. Peter Gabriel already made them successful enough, but Phil Collins like took it to a whole other level, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then we get to Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yeah, who are considered the first progressive rock supergroup.
Yep. And if you ask me, the best.
Yeah,
Close second would go to Flying Colors, which is a lot newer. We'll talk about that later.
yep. All right. No, we'll get to them soon. Oh, and there was like a couple other bands that I wanted to cover too. So, just give me a quick moment. And I know that There was your boys, the Deer Hunter. You want to say anything about them?
Not yet. We'll talk about that later. We'll start from the past and work toward the present.
Yeah, but the only thing is, I don't have a clear timeline of when these started. All these progressive rock artists that I have here are
We'll
in
we'll
alphabetical
approximate.
order,
We'll
so that does
approximate.
not fucking help at all. No,
Anyway,
dude, you might as well just talk about whoever because, like I said, I don't have a timeline of when these bands started, and I'm not about to go through hundreds of this shit. So,
Hey, so let's go on to yeah, let's talk more about Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
yeah, we might as well
Because
quickly talk about them. So, but
yeah, because
yeah,
they were definitely very influential in the progressive rock sound.
yeah, you
They
had
they used
Keith
a lot
Emerson.
of odd meters, which I really like in good prog music is just odd meters.
Yeah. You had Keith Emerson of The Nice, and then the aforementioned Greg Lake, and then Carl Palmer of Atomic Rooster. And even just with the three of them, they did pretty good stuff, you know. The only thing is
Yeah,
the only spin-off band who we will get into still later down the road was Asia, while the other two were considered big abject failures.
all
But of
right.
course, we did talk about their second album, Tarkus, which is probably their
Hmm.
best work right there.
It
And
is.
I've
It
had,
definitely is.
yeah, I've even had people reach out to me and say, like, yeah, no, Tarkus, it was definitely their best work. But we cannot overlook, some of the other work great work that they did. Like there was their self-titled debut album from 1970, Trilogy in 72, and then Brain Salad Surgery in 73.
Love Cell Surgery is probably their second best album, just behind Tarkus.
Yeah. Even then, well, I would always make it. Yeah, Tarkus will always be my number one, dude. I really loved the title track that much that it's even considered among my top favorites. And not to mention the fucking artwork for this album too, man. Um,
All right. Want to talk about another prog rock supergroup?
no, I was gonna say like I wanted to try and get through some of these other groups before we do the super groups. So,
Okay.
but what about your guy David Bowie? He's a prog guy, right?
Uh, he's more art rock than progressive rock.
Okay, I know that it was like I think some of his work, some of his music genre that he at least did kind of, you know.
No, he never did any
Uh,
prog. He did art rock and glam rock.
Okay,
Excuse
yeah.
me.
Okay, I was saying. Okay, I was wondering because his name is on here for some reason, but can you really
Really?
trust this stuff? No, I mean, like I said, dude, don't get me wrong, dude. I could be wrong. So, um, let's see here. Now this,
I mean, art rock and progressive rock are relatively similar genres, so I could understand that.
I could like pretty much really see that right there, honestly. You know, um, the now the other thing is that, huh? Oh yeah. So like I said, the funny thing is that in addition to Emerson, Lake and Palmer, there was Emerson, Lake and Powell. But some reason I don't consider that as like a prog rock band. I almost consider it as more like, that new wavy type of stuff. But I heard that new wave came out of like the kind of the likes of prog rock. So, da, 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 da. Ah, we cannot talk about progressive rock without talking about Pink Floyd. Take it
Hmm.
all in, man. They took
Probably
pro-
the the most popular progressive rock band is fucking Pink Floyd.
Yeah. I could
Most
understand why,
popular and
mainly
well-known
be
one.
yeah, I could understand why because of Dark Side of the Moon, but it just feels like that kind of took away from, the pioneers, you know? Like, because remember, Pink Floyd, they were already established by that point, but they were not progressive rock. They were more in the psychedelic and space rock stuff, and even considered they were also doing experimental stuff too, so. Because remember, right after Sid Barrett left, they spent like how many years trying to find their identity of like, well, what are we going to do? What's the direction that we're going to take? And then now that I look at the lyricism and then the complex of the music, like when they made Dark Side of the Moon, it does seem about right. Right, because progressive rock, it's like making poetic stuff, and it's also like kind of telling a story, even though it's not a full story.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, dude, I can see why you like this stuff, man. Like, I didn't even understand that fully, but I've listened to stuff here and there, but I was listening just for, the music. I wasn't thinking about the lyrics, but the lyrics work really good with this stuff.
All right, I want to know what I want. You know more about them than I do, so you're going to do most of the talking.
Yeah.
Alan Parsons Project.
You are right. You are right,
Eh,
jackass. You are right. So, we all know that the man who engineered the masterpiece that is, Dark Side of the Moon, Alan fucking Parsons. He meets Eric Wolfson, who himself was a kind of a poetic playwright in the musical scene, like theater, musical theater, and all that. And they get together and they're like, you know what? Let's make a project together. And they're like, one of them was like, okay, let's do it. And then we end up seeing the masterpieces that they made, starting with Tales of Mystery and Imagination, which we covered in
Mm-hmm.
our last one of our last episodes about concept albums. And it was just a concept album about the work, some of the notable works by none other than Edgar Allan
Edgar
Poe.
Allan Poe.
Yep.
And they
And
also did Turn of a Friendly Card, which I haven't listened to yet.
yeah, I mean, dude, the song games people play, dude, that's like they're probably, in my opinion, their best song right there. That's why I said Turn of a Friendly Card. I think it's probably their greatest work, in my opinion. But you would have to listen to the whole entire discography. And I'll be honest, I've only listened to maybe at least um, a few songs from each album, No, but I really want to do a full dive into all of it. But yeah, they are considered like progressive rock, art rock, some experimental stuff, um,
Hmm.
and all that. Like the project, dude, is really good, dude. Like I mean, what is there to say about it? I mean, they had I mean, it's named after fucking Alan Parsons, who is considered one of the greatest producers and engineers of all time, at least in the music industry. And
Right.
like I said, to show you how much I love him, dude, I showed you that whole fucking box, and it's right there, and I'm not gonna
Hmm.
dig it out right now just for like 2 to 3 seconds. And so, but they made
Right.
so much concept albums. They did so much great work, man. And you just gotta listen.
Next, I want to talk about none other than Porcupine Tree.
Oh, ha, ha.
Porcupine Tree are an English rock band formed by musician Stephen Wilson in 1987. During an initial career spanning more than 20 years, they earned critical acclaim from critics and fellow musicians, developed a cult following, and became an influence for new artists.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The group carved out a career at a certain distance away from the mainstream music, being described by publications such as Classic Rock and Pop Matters as the most important band you'd never heard of.
The most important band you never heard. Wow.
Yeah, they were very influential for those who know about them. And they have a very unique sound, which I really like. Their genres I go from progressive rock, progressive metal to post-progressive, psychedelic rock, and experimental rock.
I got you, man.
Yeah, their best albums are, uh, let's see, In Absentia from 2002 and Fear of a Blank Planet in 2007. Then they released an album called The Incident in 2009 and took a hiatus, and finally released a new album in 2022.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that sometime soon they release another album because, my God, like In Absentia and Fear of a Blank Planet are the best two albums so far. But Closure Continuation from 2022 is also really good.
Hell yeah, man. That's what's up. Like it's it's just so funny is that you end up finding a whole lot of these bands that you've never even heard of, but they've been around the whole fucking
Hmm.
time, and it's almost
Hell
like
yeah.
they were one of those examples right there for me, honestly. Now let me ask you this, Aegis. When it comes to like a lot of these progressive bands, do you think that the majority of their albums are going to always be concept albums or possibly rock operas?
Well, even the Deer Hunter, he mostly does rock operas. They released fucking Migrant, which was their one album that wasn't a rock opera or a concept album.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you gotta have one of those albums, just make normal stuff and whatnot. But it just so far it just feels like with a lot of these bands, it's mostly concept albums. You know, at least that's how I see it. Anyway, that's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
with Porcupine Tree, the only one I think that they have that would be considered a concept album is Fear of a Blank Planet, just for its themes of fucking bipolar disorder and ADHD.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about the rest of their albums. I'm pretty sure that's their only concept album.
Okay, I got you, man.
I could be wrong though. I could be completely wrong.
Right.
All right, on your turn. Give me a prog album.
A prog album.
Yeah. Well, a prog artist. I mean, my
Oh
bad.
yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, have you ever heard of Manfred Mann's Earth Band?
I've not.
They're the ones that made that song "Blinded by the Light."
Have not listened to it.
Yeah, they've been around for like so many years, but the problem is like they're only remembered by that one song, "Blinded by the Light." And I would recommend listening to it. It's a pretty good song. They the sound of that song, I will tell you, it almost sounds like it should have been on a National Lampoon's Vacation movie. I don't know. It's how it sounds. Hell, I even got it on here, so if I have to play it for you, I fucking will. So, um, but yeah, that's like no, you'll have like some of them nuggets where it's like, oh, you only know them because of this one song or two songs, and that's it. The Moody Blues, the only two songs I've ever heard from them was that one, and then I'm just a singer in a rock and roll band. Um, there was like another band that I wanted to quickly bring up here, and obviously we cannot do a video like this without talking about fucking Dream Theater.
Yep, they're progressive metal, correct?
Yes, sir, they are. But it's like they are like it's so funny. Like I love the name. I love that name, dude. And if I was ever to make like an album, music album of my own, I would call it Nightmare Theater, just like a little
Mhm.
tribute kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
they have some really good stuff. Like they've done like a couple concept albums. They even did a rock opera of their own, which we will review in the near future. I don't know when, but they do have some great stuff, man. Like we even talked about their newest album that came out back February during the early days of this podcast that we've covered, and it's Parasomnia, and it talked about the different areas and all that of like parasomnia stuff. So
All right, there's one more prog rock artist I want to talk about before I go into progressive metal.
Yeah,
Most of his music ranges from experimental rock to progressive rock to just straight up avant-garde, crazy, weird music.
yeah.
That man, of course, is Frank Zappa.
I fucking knew it. Unfucking believable. You know what that tells me is that you can't go through a fucking podcast on here without talking about your fucking guy who you decided to try and copy with your fucking hair and your fucking facial hair, bro. I
No, my
fucking
facial hair
knew it.
is way different than him.
I
No, I'm
fucking
just
knew it.
very inspired by the way he composes his music, you know?
Yeah.
And I like to experiment in the same way as he does, so.
Yeah. I could just imagine if you decided to do like a concept album or a rock opera like Joe's Garage, but instead you just, for whatever reason, to make fun of me by calling it Roger's bedroom or Roger's closet.
No, it'd be Roger's bedroom. Roger's bedroom.
Yep. But of course, yeah, he has such a big discography, man.
Oh my
Man, but
God. And he's released so much shit after his death, too. It's crazy.
yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff that never got released that was being released like how many years later, even after he died, dude.
He has this big vault full of all sorts of music that he has not released yet.
How much more do you think still in there for like how many more albums?
I don't fucking know, dude. A lot.
I could like you like it's so funny like this is just off topic right now like they like it's been nearly 22 years since Johnny Cash died and they're still finding a whole bunch of unreleased music in his vaults and then it's the same for the Beatles dude like they've been discontinued for no, over 55 years and they're still finding old stuff from that was like from because they were recording so much shit, dude. Like it was unbelievable.
All right. Want to know what I want to talk? Want to know what band I want to talk about next?
What's that?
This is where I'm getting into the progressive metal category, all right?
Okay,
Band I got into in the last year or so called Leprous.
Leprous. Oh yeah.
Leprous is a Norwegian progressive metal band from not Notodden. I don't know how the fuck to pronounce that. Formed in 2000.
Just say it's Norway, dude. We'll be fine there.
Yeah, they were formed in 2001. The group was founded by singer and keyboardist Einar, Einar Solberg and guitarist Tor Admunds. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. But they're a progressive metal band from 2001 from Norway. And their first album was called Tall Poppy Syndrome, and I thought it was really good.
Yeah. Tall
My
poppy syndrome.
my favorite albums they've done so far are uh, Tall Poppy Syndrome, Bilateral, Aphelion, which is their 2021 album, and I also really like their most recent album from 2024, Melodies of Atonement.
Yeah. I was gonna say, my cat's freaking out about something. I need to go check on her. Just go ahead and talk
Yeah,
about whatever next.
right. Yeah, honestly, out of all their albums, my favorite is Aphelion. It has a very unique sound to it that differentiates itself from the other albums. That and I also Tall Poppy Syndrome. They have a song on the album called Tall Poppy Syndrome, which Tall Poppy Syndrome is like the is about dissing people for their success, like criticizing someone for being famous for doing hard work and stuff, you know? Like, you know what I'm trying to say, correct? That Tall Poppy Syndrome is just the critiquing of people for being famous and successful. That's what Tall Poppy Syndrome is, and they have a song on that album called Tall Poppy Syndrome, and I think is Really good.
I swear to God, I think my cats are meant to make my life a living hell at this point.
Hmm.
Um, all right, so was there anything else that you wanted to say?
I just said everything I need to say about Leprous.
All right, perfect timing then. There was like there was like someone else that I wanted to quickly bring up right here at this point, but I gotta just take a look one more time through this whole list here. So, uh, oh yeah, so there was this one band that I ended up telling you about, or recently, and they're basically just simply titled Camel, is what they're called. And I've listened to their stuff that I think they're pretty good in my opinion, man. Like they don't get a whole lot of attention like they should in my opinion. No, I've mostly listened to their album simply titled Mirage, and that is quite a unique album cover right there, mainly because it looks like the artwork for the Camel cigarettes.
Yep.
I guarantee you, I guarantee you, I get a CD copy of this. I just show it to my mom, and she takes it out and tries to like find cigs in it. I was like, no, mom, it's not a cigarette because she smokes Camel 99. So, or at least that's what she was smoking. She probably makes her own. I can't remember. Yeah, but I did like their stuff. So, yeah.
All right.
What about let's see here.
I got one if you'll allow me to talk about it quick.
By all means.
Honestly, lately this has been one of my absolute favorite progressive metal bands. It is none other than Haken.
Hell yeah.
It's an English progressive metal band formed in 2007 by multi-instrumentalist Richard Henshaw, guitarist Matthew Marshall, and vocalist Ross Jennings. Let's see. Yeah, they most of their music is progressive metal, but some of it's just progressive rock. They've
Yeah.
they were formed in 2007 and are still together. They're still making new music, which I'm really looking forward to their next album because I like every album I've listened to by them so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite songs of all time in general is from their album The Mountain. It is called The Cockroach King. And oh my God, it is such a good fucking song. It is their magnum opus,
Yeah.
was Cockroach King.
Yeah. Like, is it like considered like their best album overall, or is that just your opinion about it?
Just that song, The Cockroach King, is their best song. I wouldn't say it's from their best album, but it's their
Okay, I
best
got you.
song. Their
I
best
got you,
album
man.
so far is one of their most three recent ones, Vector, Virus, or Fauna. I haven't really decided which one I like most out of those because they're all three of those albums are really good.
Oh yeah, I got you, man. Ooh. Now that
Yeah,
you
they haven't.
brought Yeah, go right ahead.
All right, they haven't released an album since 2023, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that they do release another album soon.
Yeah.
Okay, on to you.
All right, so I did so obviously you know who the Electric Light Orchestra is, right?
Yeah,
Yep. Progressive pop, progressive rock, orchestral pop, art rock, the stuff that complements the prog rock stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, we all know what my all-time fucking favorite song by them is, and my number one, "Don't Bring Me Down," obviously. Yeah,
mm,
they are. What is it about them that really gets my attention? I think it's their overall sound because it's like it's like you take musical theater and you mesh it with just normal rock and roll, right? It's like a
yeah.
it's almost like a play being played in your ears. is how I would describe the sound of their music, in my opinion. Obviously, they've been around for a very long time, and yeah, they obviously haven't been around for a very long time. You know, they basically had a farewell concert just recently, about a month ago, and it's basically they haven't released an album since 2019, obviously. But the funny thing is,
Mhm.
their last two albums were basically titled Jeff Lynne's ELO, not Electric Light
All right.
Orchestra, but it's considered as part of their discography overall, you know?
All right. You keep talking. I got to use the bathroom and I got to grab another beer. I will be right back.
And you gotta masturbate. We all know how this fucking works. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you're liking what we're doing right here, be sure to subscribe. We have just recently uploaded a new video on the Interrobang group channel. And yeah, let me tell you, that was a fucking nightmare to do all of its own. Not the editing part of it, but just the fucking. God, I don't even want to fucking think about it right now. So, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, aside from that, what else is there to say really about this? This Electric Light Orchestra, just fucking phenomenal, dude. Just, such great music. I love it. I just gotta quickly type in some hashtags, obviously, because I got put in set up the description for this fucking episode, as you know. Oh, it's a lot of tough work, people, but I could honestly care less. I love it.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah,
Do you want
wow,
me to talk about? Oh, go ahead.
that masturbation really went fast.
Mm.
All right, so who do you want to talk about next?
My favorite, you know him, the deer hunter.
Yep, the old beer hunter. There and yeah, I'm gonna let you. The floor is all yours for that, man. I know you got a
All
lot to
right.
say.
All right, the Deer Hunter is an American progressive rock band originating in Providence, Rhode Island. It began as a side project of Casey Crescenzo when he was a member of the Receiving End of Sirens before becoming his main band in 2006. The band's sound features a wide variety of instruments and styles. So their main thing that they're doing is it's called their acts, all right? There's Act One, the lake south, the river north. Act Two, the meaning of and all things regarding misleading. Act Three, life and death. Act Four, rebirth and reprise. And Act Five, hymns with the devil and confessional. The storyline all has to do with this character named Hunter, the deer hunter, Dear Hunter. And it's about his he was born to a prostitute and he was raised near like a river and a lake.
Yeah,
And he grows up, he looks for he kind of learns tries to learn about his mother's past. His mother is named Mystery,
yeah,
huh? And basically that's Act One. Oh yeah, in Act One, he also meets the main antagonist in the series called the Pimp and the Priest,
the
who is,
pimp.
yes, by night he is a pimp, and by daylight he is a priest scamming people for their money and preying on people become to join his brothel, you know?
Yeah,
And such a good song. Just the song The Pimp and the Priest is one of their best songs. And then Act Two comes along, his mother dies, and he goes to the town searching for answers and everything, you know. And he falls in love with this prostitute named Misleading.
yeah,
And that's what that whole album is about. In Act Three, he abandons his town that he grew up in and goes to war. And then Anyway, you get the point. I don't want to
Yeah.
spoil the whole storyline because it's a really good story, and I'm just waiting for Act Six because they said they are going to end it after Act Six, and I'm really excited for that.
Yeah,
Not
whenever that'll fucking come out because it's been nearly a decade since Act 5 came out.
Yep, they want to release a film that goes alongside it when they release it. So that's the main reason that's taking them for a while. That's taking them so long. But in the meantime, they're working on a series called The Indigo Child, which includes an EP called The Indigo Child,
Yeah.
and then their first album in this series is called Antimai. And it's kind of like a fucking what's the word for it? Dystopian kind of setting.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The dystopian setting, it's just like with Radiohead's OK Computer dystopian.
Yeah, and then they also did the color spectrum, which we talked about in our
Yep,
concept albums video recently, where he did like four colors for four songs for each color on the rainbow,
yep.
with the addition of black and white.
No, oh yeah, without a doubt, man.
And then they
Uh,
did Migrant, which was just a regular album, didn't have any story to it. It was just a bunch of songs that had no connection to one another. And they also did All Is As All Should Be, which was an EP. They did that and the North American EP, which both had nothing to do with anything.
yeah,
They're still good, just nothing to do with anything.
yeah.
All right, that's all I got to say about the Deer Hunter.
All right. No, what? No, you want to talk about System of a Down? They're considered as progressive metal too.
Really, they're mostly new metal, but some of it can be categorized as progressive metal.
Yeah, I mean, like when you listen to like their album Toxicity, like I could hear like some of that proggy influence, like in some of their songs, you know.
Yeah,
No, like they're pretty good. Like I don't listen to them a whole lot. The only time I listen to them is just with that one album, Toxicity. Yeah, that's the only time I listen really to them because that's the only album I really know much about. So,
honestly, when I'm at work, there are several different playlists I'll listen to when I'm at work. One of
yeah.
them is my Deer Hunter playlist. Another one is my Haken slash Porcupine Tree playlist. And one of them is just my System of a Down playlist. I grew up listening to a lot of System of a Down.
Yeah.
So I know all of their songs. I like just about all their songs. Ironically, all my least favorite ones are their most popular ones. Like a lot of people really like Chop Suey, they like Chop Suey, they like Lonely Day, and I'm like,
you
those are
you
some of
like
their weakest
you like
songs.
listening to those hidden gems, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. Exactly.
No, dude, I find a few hidden gems here and there. Like for example, dude, like it's just my opinion. Like I know that with the Alan Parsons project, they mostly play the songs like "I Wouldn't Want to Be Like You" or "Games People Play" or even "Time" from that's from their album "Turn Up a Friendly Card." But it feels like the songs that really don't get a lot of airplay that's like a hidden gem for me is their debut album. Like even though their debut album no, did really good and actually did a lot of people were listening to it and whatnot. It just still feels like a hidden gem to me.
Okay. Are
And
we
that's
ready
what
to
I've
talk
always said.
about supergroups?
There was like a few more bands that I actually wanted to talk about. I'm surprised that you haven't even brought up, honestly, Lee, because I know there was like a few other of your favorite bands that are on here too that I thought you would have wanted to bring up too. So,
Well,
um,
give me the names and I'll rattle on.
let me just take a look quick here. I'm right now just scrolling through all this because there's a lot of fucking names. Yeah, Brian Eno's considered like prog rock too, you know?
Really?
Yeah. Like I'm
Oh,
like, did you not know that?
hmm. I don't know if I really consider his music progressive rock.
Yeah, it would probably be more like in
Art
the
rock
art rock.
maybe.
Yeah, I would consider like in the art rock stuff, but his name is on here. His
Hmm.
name is on here apparently, so I'm just taking a look here. Let me see what his stuff is. Yeah, like you said, his the genres that I'm looking at are like pretty much ambient, electronic, minimalism, pop, and rock, obviously. But no, he does. It does sound like it does have some influence and all that on there. So it's probably also because of his work that he did with Robert Fripp. He actually did a collaboration album with Robert Fripp called No Pussyfooting, and it was in
Oh,
a band that it was like a small group thing that was called Eno and Fripp or whatever it is. I gotta look one more time.
I never knew about this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just yeah, dude. Like
Excuse
Fripp and
me. I'm gonna have to
yeah.
listen to that.
Yeah, I'll have to send you the link. Let me quickly send that to you right now. Maybe if I could find it on YouTube Music and all that. In the meantime, yeah, he did Brian Eno and Robert Fripp did a collab album together, which you never would think that there would be certain people who would actually collab together or work together or whatnot. I just only knew who Brian Eno was because of Talking Heads,
Hmm.
so
He's worked with Talking Heads. He's worked with David Bowie,
yep, your other main guy there too, yeah.
Adrian Belew,
Let me see this.
Phil
All right,
Manzanera.
okay, yep, I just found the album. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Okay, I'll have to give it a listen because, excuse me, because I do know Brian Eno and I do like Robert Fripp. Those two together, probably in fucking ingenious.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty much yeah, it says yeah, it's pretty much it's like ambient like music too, like if that's your cup of tea, but I'd say give it a chance at least. At least. And then of
Yeah,
course,
Eno does a lot of ambient music.
yeah.
I remember this one time. I was at my sister's on my way down to college. We were smoking weed, taking doing whippets. You know what whippets are?
Yeah, I've heard of whippets.
It's basically like nitrous that comes in like a can,
Yeah.
and we were just sitting there smoking weed, doing whippets, and listening to Brian Eno.
Right, dude. Yeah. Oh, dude, the Decemberists.
Progressive folk.
No, no. What can you say about them? You know what the funny thing is? I
I
wasn't sure if you noticed this, but when we were at work, dude, I ended up hearing them over the PA speaker. They were playing a song by them that was from the Crane Wife.
I have heard them play some songs from their new album from their newest album.
Oh yeah,
I've heard them
that's what I
play
probably meant to
Burial
say was
Ground.
that it would have been from their stuff.
Yeah, they've played Burial Ground and they've played Oh No on the radio at work, which I was like, hey,
Yeah,
I love this shit.
that was actually what I meant to say was that it was oh no. Every time I
But
keep thinking of that, I keep thinking of this one punchline that okay, so obviously I listen to a lot of really stupid shit while I'm working, right? There was a video that's on YouTube about top 10 biggest meltdowns in NFL history, and they did something about Tony Romo, no, the former quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He often melts down in December, and probably my most favorite punchline, what the narrator said was, in the final game of the regular season, Tony Romo delivered an oh no. That's just me. So every time I keep thinking of seeing the words oh no or somebody saying oh no, I keep thinking to fucking that punchline there. Captain Beefheart,
no,
they're considered prog rock, right?
let me talk about the Decemberists more first, okay?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Specifically, my favorite album they did is called The Crane Wife. The music on it ranges from indie rock to progressive folk to progressive rock and art rock. The Crane Wife is based on an old Japanese folk tale. I think I talked about this in our last video, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you did, man. But do you want to just like summarize it or whatever, or at least in the like give the shorter version of it?
Yeah, so basically, like this poor man finds an injured crane on his doorstep, and he helps mend its wounds and all that, and he sends it to fly away.
Yeah,
And then the next day, this beautiful woman shows up on his doorstep, and they marry each other. And this man is poor, so she's like, "Hey, I can make his money. I can make clothes." But the
yeah,
only condition was that he was not allowed to see her making the clothes or anything.
Mwah.
And then eventually he goes in on her and notices that in the thread are her feathers and blood.
Oh yeah,
Then she flies away and he never sees her again. That's just a rough idea of what it's about. Also
right.
in the album, The Crane Wife was the isle. What the fuck was it? Track listing. Yeah, The Island. It's based on fucking William Shakespeare's The Tempest.
Oh okay.
It's also got some other really good songs in there, like O Valencia, which I know you've played on the radio before,
Yep, that
and The
I have.
Perfect Crime 2, Summer Song. I also really like their song The Culling of the Fold. The piano in that song is just very alluring to me.
Yeah.
All right, whatever it was that you wanted to talk about.
Okay. So no, another band. This other band right here. We obviously know who they are. I honestly did not expect them to be like in the progressive rock sound, but apparently they are. I consider them as more of the hard rock stuff, and I'm talking, of course, about Rush.
Yep, they're Prague.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, dude. I just don't hear that part is the thing, you know?
Not gonna
Like,
lie, I don't listen to a lot of Rush.
yeah, dude, they are so good with like how their stuff is. As not only do they have the likes of Geddy Lee, hey, who is known for his great voice, and then Alex Lifeson, who did such great stuff behind the scenes, you know, in the third man, and then of course you got God who is often considered at number two among the greatest drummers of all time, the legendary Neil Peart. But then, of course, they've have such a great whole discography right here. You know, like their self-titled debut was good. Many people consider their fourth album, 2112, as like their magnum opus, but it's not moving pictures, which is often considered one of the greatest albums of all time. At least when I took a look at it, it's at number 379 on that list. And it's obvious, and we obviously know it mostly because of Tom Sawyer and probably my all-time favorite song from them, Limelight. Like such great music right there, man. Like really good stuff, you know. No, I do intend on doing an album review of this also in the future. But yeah, it's great stuff, man, you know. Let's see here. There was like a couple more that I was looking at that I found on here.
Next one
Um,
I want to talk about is Devin Townsend Band.
Yeah, is that yeah? I is that what he's part of? Is the prog rock stuff?
Well, a lot of the music is prog rock, but he was also part of fucking Strapping Young Lad, who I don't believe is prog.
Okay,
I've
I
never
got
listened
you.
to
Yeah,
Strapping Young Lad though, but no, he's best known for his album Ziltoid the Omniscient. I know I've talked about this at least two times on this. Uh,
yeah. I think it was like two times, give or take. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I'll give a quick rundown on what it's about though, because it's pretty quick.
yeah. Go right ahead.
It is about an extraterrestrial being named Ziltoid from the planet Ziltodia 9. Ziltoid travels to Earth in search of your universe's ultimate cup of coffee. When a cup of coffee is delivered to him, he is appalled by its taste, declaring it fetid, and summons the Ziltodian warlords to attack Earth, facing the full might of Earth's army. I know it is a goofy album, and the music is good. I like it.
And they had to have a fucking album cover that looks like it's from a fucking comic strip, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, that's all I can really say about that. So,
I don't know. I just love the concept of it. It's just like this alien comes to Earth and searching to find this cup of coffee. And it's like, this coffee's shit. I'm gonna destroy your entire fucking planet.
I don't know. This coffee tastes good, and you don't see me destroying the place.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's pretty much all we could really think of for like all these normal bands here. We're gonna take a quick break here, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're gonna discuss progressive rock supergroups. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show that reminds you that prog rock is something for you to get high to. This is the Roger Radio Show. I am here with Slash, who just came back from vacation, and then we got Bernie Sanders. Aegis apparently had a weekend at Bernie's, so you can tell by the fucking shirt that he's wearing here. So, dude, you gotta quit fucking playing with his nose. God damn. Okay, so obviously we talked about some of the most notable bands that we know mostly and musicians. We're gonna talk about supergroups, and there is a whole lot of them, but honestly, ladies and gentlemen, we only know a few of them. So I don't know if the break was necessary, but it is what it is. We're just gonna do what we can here, I
Roll with
guess,
it.
people. Huh?
We're just gonna roll with it.
Yep. We, of course, cannot talk about this without talking about the first ever progressive rock supergroup, Emerson, Lake, and Palmer.
Yep, we already talked about them earlier, but they're worth mentioning again. Their music is brilliant. I liked Tarkus. I liked Brain Salad Surgery. Especially the extended edition of Brain Salad Surgery, where they had more songs, including the song itself, Brain Salad Surgery.
Yep,
I also liked their album Works One. Works One was really good. It's got a bunch of cool improvisational pieces.
yep, absolutely. Now, ladies and
Then there
gentlemen,
was Trilogy, all sorts of shit.
yeah. All right, now, folks, the band consists of keyboardist Keith Emerson of The Nice, vocalist, bassist, and producer Greg Lake of King Crimson, and drummer Carl Palmer of Atomic Rooster. Now, these three, they obviously helped lay down the groundwork for the supergroup aspect of the genre, and obviously I got introduced by them by their song Lucky Man from their self-titled debut album, and then but my most favorite song from that is Knife Edge.
It was
The
from their
fu-
self-titled album, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's a Knife Edge I keep getting drawn to because of the fucking ending of it, dude.
Yeah.
Like how it's almost like so it all just suddenly starts slowing down and crashing out kind of thing. That's what it sounded like for that.
One of their most underrated songs that I like from them is from Works One. It's a song called Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Oh yeah, you
It's,
introduced me to that song too.
it's a good song, dude. I don't care if the lyrics offend me a bit. I think it's a good fucking song.
Holy
It's me
shit,
with
yeah, they
George
did have a
Carlin,
lot
dude.
of good stuff here, yeah.
It's me with George Carlin too. I find his humor to be very offensive and appalling at times, but goddamn, is he not a funny ass motherfucker?
Yeah. I think for me, dude, like probably their most um I'm trying to think like their least layered song or like just their most peeled back song would be From the Beginning. Just mostly acoustic, man. Like I really liked that song. It doesn't even sound like a progressive song, dude. It sounds almost more like a fucking just an acoustic song, like a folksy kind of tune.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you have the other fucking instrument that was being played in it. I assume that would be Keith Emerson's keyboards or whatever. At least, like around when near the ending, or not very close to the ending, but just as it's coming and all that. So, oh, it was a Moog synthesizer that he used, is what it was called. That's the only song I really know from that. And then, of course, we got Brain Salad Surgery, dude.
Have you ever listened to the actual song Brain Salad Surgery?
Um, or no, actually, there's no song that's called that. Is there?
There is. It's on the extended edition.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. No, I haven't.
It's actually pretty good. I will say though, Carnival 9, the whole Carnival 9 suite,
Yeah,
that was uh, the best part of the album, even better than anything on the extended edition.
right. I mean, dude, I'm looking at it right now, dude. It is four different parts, or you know what I mean. Carnival 9, First Impression Part 1, First Impression Part 2. The First Impression Part 2 part, we obviously, it gets a lot of radio play, obviously. That's the only part they play. And then Carnival 9, Second Impression, and then Third Impression.
Hmm.
Oh, like I haven't listened to the whole entire album itself per se, but it looks
I
like
have.
something that I might have to take a look at. But obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot talk about this fucking band without, of course, fucking talking about TRRS.
Tarkus.
Yes, now we've done an album review of this, and it is actually as of right now my third, I think either my second or third most popular video here on YouTube. So be sure to check that out. We yeah, already checked it out and all that, and of course the title track for it is probably one of my all-time favorite songs. And I even said this, in my opinion, is probably their greatest work of all of their whole discography is TRRS. And I've had people reach out to me and be like, "Yeah, it is. You are right about that. They did such great work with it, especially with the compositions and just how to do the arrangements for the whole entire TRRS song, obviously, and their 7 suites."
All right. Anything else about Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or should we go on?
Just one thing, like as of right now today, Carl Palmer is the only living member left.
Yep.
You know, because Keith Emerson sadly took his own life in 2016, and then he was followed by Greg Lake, who died of cancer. And Carl Palmer, obviously, the only one left, he still tries to do whatever to, preserve the legacy of Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. Uh, and we all know that with him, it was not the only super group that he was in, because Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, right in 1979 or 1980, if I remember correctly, he ended up departing them because to form another super group simply titled Asia. And the
Hmm.
funny thing is, they're all from Europe. So why the fuck would they call themselves Asia, right?
I think Asia is probably the most popular progressive rock supergroup there is.
Oh, dude, their stuff was pretty great, with no
Yeah,
doubt
they're the
about it.
most well-known one. Like you
Yeah,
could just go up to some random dudes like, "Hey, have you ever heard of the band Asia?" And like, "Hell yeah, I love Asia."
right. Now the band consists of the aforementioned Carl Palmer. It also include on drums. It also includes lead vocalist and bassist John Wen, who was in King Crimson, Uriah Heep, and UK, and then guitarist Steve Howe and keyboardist Jeff Downs, both of Yes, with Downs also being part of the Bugles. And in my opinion, their self-titled debut album is probably their magnum opus as far as like their whole discography, and it's probably considered, in my opinion, probably one of the best debut albums because they did such great work. And obviously, I every time I hear this goddamn song, I keep thinking of fucking Dean, or yeah, Dean waking up saying, "Rise and shine, Sammy," only to get his fucking ass killed. And then Sam wakes up in bed again with fucking heat of the moment on the alarm clock.
Hmm.
Ugh. Now, how much of Asia have you listened to?
Not much. It's not really my cup of tea.
Yeah. I think for me, as far as I'm concerned, like I've listened to only I think maybe one or two of their songs, but they were obviously pretty good. Let's see here. So there was apparently a another progressive rock band or supergroup that was called the Chris Squire Experiment, and this group right here mainly consisted of the likes of let me just see here. It was founded by Chris Squire, who was then the bassist of Yes, and Billy Sherwood, formerly and subsequently of Yes. Let me see if I can find this quick. I'm just seeing who was in it. It doesn't look like it has a name, but the basically the story was that it includes also Alan White of Yes, Jimmy Hound of Logic, worked with Yes and later of Circa, and then Steve Porcaro of fucking Toto. They toured, but they did not release any albums. Then they reemerged as the band Conspiracy. And that's pretty much it, really, about them that I can really say, honestly. So,
Yeah.
um, let's
Just let
see.
me know when I can start talking about flying colors.
You are just so fucking ready to go on that.
All
Dude, you might as well just get into them right now because they're next.
right, so they started in 2000. Oh, they started in 2011. Uh, let's see. In 2008, Evans wrote a proposal for a band that combined sophisticated music, complex composition, and virtuoso performances with accessible mainstream songwriting. His idea was to channel the complexity through a charismatic pop singer slash songwriter, keep the songs short, and use humor. Evans approached Neil Morse, who was a solo artist. Excuse me. Excuse me. He was a solo artist, part of Spock's Beard, which is another really good prog band.
Yeah.
Neil Morse was also in Transatlantic and the Neil Morse Band. He also approached Dave LaRue from Dixie Dregs, the Steve Morse Band, Joe Satriani, and Steve Vai.
Dude, you're not gonna puke on you, are you?
No, no, I just got the burps.
No, well, fucking
he,
get him out. You're killing the flow right now.
he also approached Steve Morse from the Steve Morse Band, Dixie Dregs, Deep Purple, and Kansas, Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater and Transatlantic, and music producer Peter Collins, who is from Rush and played with Bon Jovi. about making that band a reality.
Yeah, I think we'll
Kerry
just leave it
Livgren,
right there. Like, there's
yeah,
too much information here, but yeah, it just
yeah,
pretty
you
much
get the point. You get
comprises
the
of all
point.
of them. So, huh?
You get the point. So far, they only have 3 albums. I'm hoping they release more because I really like them.
Yeah,
They have
but
their titular
who
album, Flying Colors, Second Nature, and Third Degree.
Yeah, but who knows how that will work out because with Mike Portnoy returning to Dream Theater to make Pyrosomnia and
Hmm.
him still being part of that band, it's probably gonna end and with everyone else's schedules, it's probably gonna be at least another while. It right now it doesn't say anything about if they broke up. As far as we know, they're still active right now. So.
Hmm.
No, but who knows how much work they've been doing together, mainly because of the fact that they have all their own projects. All right, so in addition to them, there was like a bunch of other bands that we know of also, or at least not anymore that we know, honestly. So I'm just taking a look here. I know that there were some other bands that I did hear of, but don't know that fully well. Oh, there's a progressive metal supergroup that's mostly instrumental. They're called Planet X. X, and it mainly consists of Derek Sharanian, who worked with Alice Cooper in Dream Theater, Virgil Donati, who was a session musician for Steve Vai, Rufus Philpott, Tony McAlpine, who left in 2004 and who was a member of CAB and who worked with Vinnie Moore, and then TJ Helmrich.
No, I just remembered another progressive metal group that we haven't talked about.
Who was that quick?
Uh, Animals as Leaders.
Oh yeah, there was them, yeah.
Yeah, it's a trio. It's Tosin Abazi, I think it's pronounced, Javier Reyes, and Matt Garstka.
Yeah.
It's one of the few progressive. It's one of the few prog groups that actually contains a man of color. Because the leader of the group, Tosin Abazi, is a brother,
Oh, okay.
and they are a very good group. They play strictly instrumental music, but it is damn good.
Right.
If I'm gonna sit down like read or something, I like to put them on in the background, so it's something that doesn't take my focus away from reading, but something to
Yeah.
go on in the background, you know?
Yeah, I got you. Oh, there
Yeah,
is
they
a.
do.
Oh,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, they do progressive metal, gent, instrumental rock, and jazz fusion. That's all I had to say. On to you.
Okay. There was also a 801 who we discussed.
Yes, forgot about that. Yeah, 801 with Phil Manzanera, Brian Eno, and whoever the hell else.
There's also Bill McCormick, Francis Monkman, Simon Phillips, and Lloyd Watson.
Okay.
And then I was just saying, there's also another supergroup who's also called Strontium 90, who consists of all the members of the Police, Sting, Stuart Copeland, and Andy Summers, along with Gong's Mike Howlett. Now, I've never even heard of this band, honestly.
I have
Um,
not either.
yeah. I might have to take a look, see who they are. Let me see. Yeah, they were mostly only active in 1977. So they pretty much, I think, just only did like touring stuff and that's it. Otherwise, actually, you know what this is? I think this was this was maybe a previous project that they were gonna start together, but then Gong or actually, yeah, no, I take that back. Yeah. Yeah, I take that back. Yeah, these guys were already forming right after the Police started. I actually thought it was the other way around, honestly. So,
All right. I got some stuff to say if it's fine if I talk.
yeah. What about?
So when it comes to progressive metal, the most influential group was probably Tool. You know Tool.
Oh yeah.
They're
Who
probably
doesn't know
most
Tool?
yeah, they created the biggest impression on the progressive metal movement.
Yeah.
But there's another progressive metal band that I really like, I think is better than Tool,
Oh
or was
yeah.
inspired by Tool. It's called Soen.
Oh yeah.
It is a Swedish progressive metal band formed in 2010. And so far they've released how many albums? Six albums. Cognitive, Tellurian, Leica, Lotus, Imperial, and Memorial. And
Okay.
they're all
Yeah.
pretty
And you
fucking
said
good.
yeah, and you said the Memorial was like your all-time favorite album from them, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
I think
that's
that's
what I
their best
figured.
album so far.
Okay, that's what I figured because I know that we no, you talked about it in our favorite albums list, so I had to remember that. Now, there was a couple aborted projects, aborted supergroups that were about to come to fruition but never did, and there's like 3 of them. There was a British Bulldog who was around 1976. It consisted of Bill Bruford of Yes, King Crimson, and later of UK, John Wetton of King Crimson and later of UK, and Rick Wakeman of Yes and Straubs. Apparently, the report was they did rehearse, but the project fell apart. Some material later reused on UK's first album and on Rick Wakeman's Criminal Record. The next band, formed in 1980, whose name is unknown, consisted of Rick Wakeman of Yes and Straubs, John Wetton of King Crimson, UK and later of Asia, Carl Palmer of Emerson, Lake and Palmer and later of Asia, and Trevor Rabin, later of Yes. The group composed by Geffen Records, but Wakeman walked out before the band had ever even played together. Described in Wakeman's autobiography, Say Yes. Now, the next band, called XYZ, consisted of Yes members Chris Squire and Alan White, and even included Jimmy Page of the Yardbirds and Led Zeppelin. They recorded demos, some material later reused in other bands. And then in addition to that, there were some other bands that were considered star cover bands. And there was Spin 1 2. Like, it's hard to explain how this goes here. Spin number 1 and then NE number 2 WO.
Huh, that's weird.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh man, I need a tum quick. Give me a moment. I did not eat any of that fucking chili this time, so. The band consisted of Phil Palmer of the Pet Shop Boys and Dire Straits, and he also worked with Eric Clapton. The band covered classic rock songs that were done by Jimi Hendrix, The Who, Led Zeppelin, Blind Faith, Steely Dan, and Bob Dylan. And then we got Yellow Matter Custard. Okay, the Spin 1 2 band was founded in 1993. The next one was Yellow Matter Custard, founded in 2003. And here's the lineup. Consisted of Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Neil
Ugh.
Morse of Spock's Beard, Paul Gilbert of Racer X and Mr. Big, and Mac Bissonette. Or Bissonette?
Bissonette?
Yeah, I think so. And who worked with the likes of ELO, Jughead, and worked with Joe Satriani. They were a Beatles cover band. And then we got Hammer of the Gods, a Led Zeppelin cover band founded in 2006, consisted of Paul Gilbert of Racer X and Mr. Big, Daniel Gildenlow of Pain of Salvation, Dave LaRue of Dixie Dregs, Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, and yeah. And then
A lot of common band members of fucking Flying Colors.
right. And next we got Cygnus and the Sea Monsters, a Rush cover band founded in 2006. Paul Gilbert, once again, Sean Mallow of Cynic and Gordian Knot, and of course Mike Portnoy again. And then last but not least, we got Amazing Journey, a Who cover band founded in 2007. Paul Gilbert, Gary Sharon of Extreme, and who was the third lead vocalist for Van Halen. Billy Sheehan of Talas, Steve Vai, Niacin, etc. And of course, Mike Portnoy once again. Dude, fucking Mike Portnoy kept popping up out of nowhere, dude. That's an active guy right there. He is active.
Also, a lot of guys from Dixie Dregs and Spock's Beard.
Yeah. I don't know, man. No, what else is there really to talk about, man?
Let me see if I can think of anything. We at least mentioned Spock's Beard. Spock's Beard's a good band.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing really else that I can really come up with. So I think we're going to just call it right here, man. You know, what is there to say about it, ladies and gentlemen? Prog rock, obviously good stuff. You know, definitely would recommend listening to a lot more of it if you get the chance. And it's a lot of hidden gems, as Aegis kept fucking showing me, man. A lot of hidden gems.
Specifically, the Deer Hunter, Haken, Leprous. There's another one I was going to say, but I can't think of them.
Nah, right?
Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Porcupine Tree. That's what it was. Porcupine Tree.
Okay, yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to do it for this podcast. Just a quick update right here. This is going to be our last one for a while. The next 2 weeks we are going to have off because next week we got somewhere that we need to go for some projects that we're working on. And then
not going to say where.
Yeah.
It's going to be a surprise.
Yep, it'll just be a surprise. And then the week after, I got a volunteer to work at Grand Rapids River Fest, which will be on Saturday, September 6th. Tickets are available, so I recommend getting them now. I'm going to be busy doing that as well. We will be back on, let me take a look at the dates here, or the calendar at least. We will be back on Saturday, September 13th on this channel. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe to the Roger Radio Show today and keep up to date on what I'm doing. And also be sure to subscribe to the Interrobang Group channel. We just did another episode of For Idiots Only, which is a video that I instantly fucking regret. And yeah, you got anything you want to say before we sign off? Because I'm about to shit right now, so you might need to hurry up.
I can't think of anything that isn't edgy as hell.
All right, good. We're going to leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, we will... What?
No, I shouldn't say it.
Yeah, you better not say it, dude. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to sign off. We will see you back here in about 2 to 3 weeks. And as always, until next time, ta-ta for now.
Peace.